see that the youth of our next generation is not only moving and shaking and doing things and getting things done, but they're motivated in such a way that is uh, it's inspiring. Now, this young man has done many things around the city already, and he is still growing in this and growing his name. And when I met him when I first came to Corpus, we immediately connected because we have similar goals and missions, which is to bring a better or healthier Corpus. And whether that is from your mental, your physical, your emotional, whichever the case may be, we're here all to do the job. And therefore our missions align. So we had to work together. We had to start moving in the same direction because we also are representing the same community. So with that said, my man Clifton Pope, why don't you say what's up to the area of Corpus Christi and tell them a little bit more about yourself, Cliff?
What is going on, everybody? Again, like Omar said, my name is Clifton Pope, and yeah, I'm actually the founder and CEO of my health and wellness brand, educational based company, Health, Fitness, Wealth Business, where it ties into what I do on a day to day basis as me being a personal trainer and just an entrepreneur, just someone trying to guide people towards the right track, towards just simply healthier living with a holistic approach, and just showing people, hey, you have the power to take control of your destiny and basically be your own boss. And in return, you can create not only generational health, but generational wealth, which equals blessings on blessings, which is the
Yes.
overall theme of health, fitness, wealth, business.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And let me just ask, what got you into this, or what inspired you to create this company?
What inspired me, honestly, Omar, was just prior to me becoming a personal trainer and more of an entrepreneur, most people don't know I used to be a pharmacy technician for Walgreens for about 4 years, and just seeing people come in and out of the pharmacy because they deal with enough as it is,
Yeah,
right? I
yes,
mean, they're
definitely.
dealing with the doctor's office, the hospital visits, then they have to go and pick up their prescription, and just seeing like the depression and the anxiety and how stressed out they were. Something dawned on me, especially like really during the pandemic when it really started to happen when the whole lockdowns and all that were taking place. I was sitting down at home thinking to myself, like, what happened to the natural way of living? What happened to doing things more holistically? What happened to just like taking a step back to where our ancestors used to do it before big pharma and all that took over and became what it is and all that stuff? So I wanted to give people a friendly reminder of that before it got lost. And that's what I had to step back and be like, huh, what am I passionate about? I'm very passionate about getting healthy, staying in shape, and just like my dad always used to say, exercise, eat right, and get an adequate amount of sleep. So I figured turn that into one of my favorite sayings of health as well. So I kind of put two and two together to create four. It's birth, health, fitness, wealth, business.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the backstory of how that came together. From there, oh, how am I going to get this out there? Website. Oh, how am I going to get it out there next? Oh, create my own podcast, the Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business podcast series, which you can download and stream on all podcast platforms where you can get, of course, listen to podcasts and stuff. How can I tell the story as far as putting it together a little bit more and how it came to this? I'm going to write my book, tell my story. And it's my first two self-published books, What's Wealth Without Work and Dollar and a Vision, which are both on Amazon that you can buy right now, which kind of explains the overall mission of just putting in the work, making it work, as far as just creating your own wealth, not only just from a money perspective, but time, information, because take money out of that equation, you're left with time and information. What are you going to do with both of those things to, of course, generate the revenue that we all strive for as far as just financial freedom? And it's health is wealth. That's where kind of all that ties into play because they kind of go hand in hand, and it's just all about just growing through really what you go through in order to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that to the core is really why I started Health, Fitness, Wealth Business. And that's why it's continuing to grow from, of course, the website, the podcast, the books, the personal training, just finding different ways to kind of just learn to heal people and provide them just the information, knowledge, and resources that they need.
That's amazing. And I love that you are coming from the angle from the pharmaceutical perspective because you being someone who was a component of the industry,
Uh-huh.
it gave you a perspective of the opposite of that, of how, you know, people were actually coming to the pharmacy with stress, with anxiety. And then on top of that, they're getting a med that may not necessarily benefit them long term.
Exactly.
And, you know, something you said that's really important, and I hope that you all hear us out here at Corpus. By no means are we saying that your doctors are wrong, or by no means are we saying that you should not listen to your doctor whenever they're trying to help you understand something. But by all means, you need to actually go further and do research and do the work that is going to take for you to understand what you're being given. Let me just give you an example. And I say this to my veteran patients all the time. And Mike, um, I see you looking in on us because it's some really touchy and some real good information. But curious to know, like for you, let me just ask, how many people in your life do you know that are taking more than 2 or 3 types of pills just to on a daily basis? 2 people. Okay. Now, I know more than 2, and some of them being my uncles and my aunts and whatnot, or people that are, you know, elder, or I rarely see people that are my age or younger that are like taking so many. But the veterans that we see, I talked to them the other day and I'm like, hey, I'm looking at the list of your pills and this is crazy. One of my veterans is taking 16 pills a day. And I'm like, dude, what is this pill for? Oh, this. Oh, what is that for? Oh, because now I have kidney issues. Oh, how'd you get the kidney issue? Oh, well, apparently the first pill gave me kidney issue. Oh, well, damn. Okay, so now you got kidney issues. And what happened then? Well, I went to my doctor and asked her why she gave me that pill because it gave me kidney issues. And she said that it's not necessarily what gave you kidney issues. And he says, well, that's weird because you guys took it off the market because it gave people kidney issues, but you're telling me that it did not give me kidney issues. So now I'm confused and pissed off at you because I feel you're lying. And a lot of people have been through this cycle. But at the end of the day, I'll be honest. It is the doctor's job to inform you. Unfortunately, sometimes the doctor isn't as informed, or the doctor's job is actually to prescribe the medicine because that is Big Pharma's point. Now, on the other side of that, if you are not recognizing or looking into the possible side effects and the ways that these pharmaceutical pills are made, or even what they do, some of the pills that my veterans take, they actually don't know what they do. They just know that it's for a specific thing. And I'm like, okay, well, and I ask everyone this. I challenge you, even in the audience today, driving around Corpus, or if you're in your home listening to us right now. If I were to walk up off the street and pick something off the ground and ask you to put it into your mouth, would you? Would you take, if I said, oh, I found this pill on the ground. Here, take it. Put it in your mouth. Swallow it. Most people wouldn't want it. They'd be like, what are you talking about? You're crazy, bro. I don't know what that is. You're absolutely insane. I just saw you picked it up off the ground. Why would I put that in my mouth? And then I asked them the same thing. Hey, well, are you asking your doctor what exactly they're giving you and you're putting in your mouth? Because technically it's the same idea. Technically. You're receiving something from someone that you have no clue what it is, but based on my coat, you know, and my name tag determines whether or not you believe me or not. So if I were to walk up to people and we were to hold, like, let's say if we were to put a bus, right, on the side of the street and it said, health is amazing and we're here to support you. And we told people to come into our bus and we started administering random things. People will be more accepting of that because we've painted a pretty picture, right?
Yeah.
We've given it to them in a digestible manner versus some weirdo coming off the street saying, put this in your mouth. But technically it's the same thing. And if you're not doing the research and if you're not doing the understanding what it is that you're putting in your body and the effects they can have on you long term, then honestly, that's where they get us. And that is where the responsibility of each citizen on your body, it's important for you to know. Now,
you're absolutely right. It's like, again, we're not saying that doctors and nurses don't know what they're doing because some of them do. There's some that don't. But at the same time, let's take some pressure off of them. I mean, if it's like not a life or death situation, so where it's like you got to get to the hospital or else you're gonna die in like say 30 minutes or so. Let's take some pressure off of them and like Omar alluded to, just do some research. Like listen to your body, know your body. I mean, everybody is different
yeah,
because every body is different. I'm going to say that again for the listeners, just in case it went over the head. Everybody is different because everybody is different. We basically are our own kings and queens to our own temple, hence the body is our temple. So why not just take care of our body like we take care of our house, for instance, and just clean it up every now and
Yeah.
then and just kind of organize it a little bit. That way, whenever you do enter your own temple, hence enter your own home, you'll know that it's nice and clean, well organized, and you'll basically be at peace with yourself. And you can kind of listen to like the birds sing, as they say,
Yeah.
and singing wonderful, beautiful songs in the air and stuff like that.
And I love what you said because understanding that it is valuable for us to understand that our body is our own temple or the house. And you wouldn't have someone come over and your house is a mess. Or if you are that type of person, then honestly, that is a mental issue. And that's not to call people mental health issues out, but um, the mind and the body works in one specific way. What's going on in the mind will affect the body and will eventually affect your outside world. So if the mind is cluttered, the body will be cluttered, and then your home will be cluttered.
Right.
That's how that works. So I don't know if anybody has ever heard of this idea of feng shui, which is a Eastern theory of keeping the house flow, which also keeps the mind flow, and it also keeps the spirit flow.
Mm.
And the flow meaning that things are moving in circulation without any stagnancy. Like a swamp is stagnant.
Yeah.
And I tell my veterans this all the time too. If you're not drinking water and if you're not putting nutritional processes in your body, then your blood is like a swamp. And then you're wondering why you're getting sick. Well, bacteria and mold grows in swamps. Duh.
Let's take it back to just staying hydrated, and we just need to incorporate really just more fruits and vegetables into our
Yeah.
system, and organic fruits and vegetables,
Yes.
for that matter, as far as just staying close to Mother Earth as much as possible, because
And pesticides and all that.
yes,
Yep.
we got to limit ourselves from that, because that can destroy our bodies from within. It could be like a slow, painful death. And at the same time, fruits cleanse out your system, y'all.
Yep.
Vegetables strengthen your system.
Yep.
You put more of that into your system and eliminate all the processed food, all the sugars and all that. You're basically going to improve your overall metabolism in due time. And at the same time, you're going to cut down on the overall obesity issue that you may be dealing with.
And the diabetic issues.
Exactly. Not even mentioning the diabetic issues, because I don't know if you're familiar with this, y'all. Look around. We're in Corpus Christi, Texas. At one point, we were like, we probably still are at this point, in the top 10 as far as just obesity or diabetes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, yeah.
And the highest disparity of mental health. So whenever you look at these things together, it's a recipe for disaster.
It is.
Because you have no ability to go get the help you need whenever you're dealing with a mental issue, and that mental issue turns into a food issue. Because we were actually talking about this with some people the other day. This young lady was expressing to me that she has issues with emotional eating, and she's trying to understand how to lose weight. This was actually in my office with one of the nurse practitioners, and again, she's a nurse practitioner, right? So she knows the information of the anatomy, but the ability to do is a little bit more personal than just knowing information. So she couldn't understand how to get herself out of the cycle of emotional eating. And I told her it's a mental health issue. She was like, well, how? And I'm like, well, okay, well, when you start to eat, how do you feel? She was like, oh yeah, I don't feel good. I'm like, so the feeling, in order to make you feel better, what do? She goes to the food because it soothes her emotions. So therefore, the fact that she's dealing with the trauma and an illness in her mind and her emotions, she's not able to address it in any way, shape, or form because she doesn't have the support or the structure in the city to help that. And then the easiest thing to do is to eat food so to make her feel better, which over the course of time, she's now obese. And this is something that happens across the nation. And so it's important for us to understand, and going back to what you said, eating more natural sugars than processed sugars, drinking more water than Dr. Pepper, guys. Like, I literally have some patients that they're so dehydrated that their muscles are like beef jerky and their blood doesn't move. They're like, I don't understand why I'm not getting no blood. I'm like, well, when's the last time you drank water? I don't drink water. Water just doesn't taste good to me. It's water. Doesn't have a taste at all.
That's problem number one right there.
Yeah. And the not only does it not have a taste, but we're also made of water, so you kind of need it. And if you don't drink water, your blood's going to be like syrup.
Yeah, I was going to say, the water, basically 70% of your body is water.
Yeah.
Last time I checked.
Well, a little more,
Maybe
but it's a little more. But we're not going to talk about that because people like to debate stuff. But we're gonna take a little break real quick and hear from our sponsors, and then we're going to get right back into this conversation with Mr. Clifton Pope. The flow back at you. Some good shit. Okay, so this next segment, we're going to specifically. I want you
mental
to.
health stuff.
Well, I want you to talk about two things because we only have. Once we come back on, we're only going to have 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I want you to talk about what you're doing as far as a personal training, where you're at.
Yeah.
And then we'll just move directly into the event so that we get that out there. Dates, times, there's a cost for tickets, however people can get on,
Yeah.
where to buy it, where to sign up. And lastly, we can end with anything that you want to promote. Once again, you just talked about your book and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
so we're going to talk about you as a physical therapist and where you're at, and we're going to move into the event, who you may even have at the event, time and date, how to be a part of it, and then from there, any ending remarks and anything you want to promote, and we can end the show. Yeah, yeah, that 30 minutes be going by fast, right? That's why they were asking me if I wanted to do an hour show. And I definitely want to do an hour show, but it's just again as you make plans. Yo, check this out, man. This is the coolest shit. Yeah. But the other day I was like, do they have the Ravens? Oh, they do. Solar panels. Oh, the Browns. Yes. Love it. Sure is, man. What's going on, YouTube? Hope y'all good out there. We're gonna get right back to the show after our sponsors. Hear from you guys in a second. Whoa. Hey, that's my jam. Yeah, be my. All right, and we're back. And if you didn't get any water while we were on that break, then go get some water. Jesus Lord. Jesus drank water. He even splashed it on people every once in a while. Here, take some water, splash. No, seriously, it's important that you guys drink water. It's the most valuable thing in life. So, FYI, I've been a part of all this city councils and listening to everybody about the whole desal and water, water, water. I don't know if you noticed this. Some of the things that they were saying that's the most important about all nations and all civilizations and all communities that thrive because there's water nearby. Not because there's not water, because there is water. What do you think about that, Mike? Gotta have water. Yeah, exactly. Gotta have water. And so if you're not drinking water out there, just to let you know, city council and the people of the city right now are trying to do everything they can to make sure that you have water. If you're not drinking it, you better stop.
One day at a time, one step at a time.
Stop. Go get yourself some water. Go get yourself some hydration, and then go look up some research on what water does to your body. But with that said, I'm actually looking forward to get into this next segment because we are going to talk about Cliff a little bit. Cliff, personal training. Tell us more about that. Where are you personal training? How do you train? What's your purpose today?
Personal training journey started. Special shout out to where I to do my personal training at, which is called Results Company's Personal Training. It's a small private circuit based studio on the south side of Corpus Christi, Texas. It's actually right across the street from where the new Crunch Fitness just opened up and stuff. And it's their whole process behind the personal training, again, it's the healthier living with a holistic approach. It's kind of just balancing out the yin and the yang factor, the masculine and the feminine, based off of six components, which is movement, breathing, thinking, nutrition, hydration, and sleep. And special shout out to, of course, Mr. Sam Hamed, who's actually the owner of Results Company's Personal Training, for just giving me the opportunity based off of what I was already doing with health, fitness, wealth, business, and just kind of allowing me to, of course, be incorporated not only within that whole system, which is based off of the Check Institute, Paul Check and everything, the four doctors, of course, Dr. Movement, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Diet, and Dr. Happiness, and just incorporating that not only into what I'm doing, but being able to, of course, spread it out to the community and everything, just show people, hey, if you focus on the movement factor, incorporating your breathing, and of course, incorporating peace and quiet time to where you could think things through and just, again, like we've been talking about, staying hydrated, drinking water, spring water to be exact, along with a nice little pinch of sea salt as well. Do.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that part.
We ain't going to get into that because that would take like a whole nother hour. But then, of course, just the nutrition factor, just again, eating natural, grass-fed meat, organic fruits and vegetables, and just keeping things as close to organic as possible. And most importantly, sleep. Got to keep our circadian rhythm in motion as far as just finding the time within the overnight between 10 p.m. 2 a.m. to work on the physical repair, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. work on the psychogenetic repair that the body overall needs, and just implying that to all of the clients that come through and who take part in the group training classes are able to work with not only personal trainers like myself, but all the other trainers as far as just one-on-one training and just really getting them on track to just getting to their goals, number one, and like the company says, getting better results.
That's funny. Now, you also have some other things you're doing on the side personally with your business. So what's this event that you got coming up?
I actually have my second Healthy Heart Festival that is coming at Mission of Mercy, which is on 2421 Ayer Street here in Corpus Christi, Texas. It's right across the street from Del Mar College East Campus. You can't miss it. I'm grateful for the executive director, Ms. Sherry Bowers, for one, allowing me to be a part of the associate board of directors, and two, allowing me to host this event for the second time, which is just about this raising the importance of overall heart health month, or heart health awareness just in general, because February is American Heart Health Month, which I don't know if people are aware of that as far as like awareness months and stuff like that. But it's important because it's like, we talk about this all the time, and we've had many discussions about this, Omar, as far as just the heart is basically the first brain that we are within our body is within the heart. And basically the first sign of life that's detected when you're inside the woman's womb is basically the heartbeat. The heart forms around that heartbeat, and then basically in due time, your whole entire body forms into your nice little small infant baby inside the womb. So I'm trying to get people as far as, hey, we got to focus on just eating healthy, staying active, watching your cholesterol and blood pressure levels and just keeping that at a nice, healthy rate, and just, cutting down on the alcohol consumption, but drinking more in like moderations, maybe a cup of red wine at night, which is good for the heart, which a lot of people don't know about, stuff like that. And just because the whole purpose of that, and just bringing together local community leaders into the from the health and wellness field, the mental health field, just to kind of tie all that together. I might have a big name also come through who's very, very popular around the area to say a few words. I'm not going to say who it is, but you have to come out to the event on February the 13th at Mission of Mercy to find more about it. And it'll be from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we're going to have speakers, vendors, we're going to have food, of course, and we're going to do a special giveaway in honor of Valentine's Day, because we're just trying to spread not only the love and help you heal through love, but just continue to spread peace and positive vibration.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And to that point, we will go ahead and get ready to end this show. But before we end that, I wanted to say one last thing to what Clifton said about that space in the womb Whenever, if you're a woman, you know this, and if you've had a kid as a man, whenever you go into that ultrasound, they do the little ultrasound thing, and then you see that little heartbeat. But there is no heart; it's just the beating little pulsy globus bubble thing,
Exactly.
and that is actually called the intrinsic cardiac nervous system, or also known as the heart brain. The heart grows around that space, and it's actually in the upper right atrium of the heart, also known as the SA node and the NA node, which is also
Yes.
the sinoatrial and the atrioventricular node. And I know this because I studied the body, and I had to learn it to pass the test. And so it's important that you all get that information and know that it's not just some random mumbo jumbo. It's actually a space that we don't talk about in medicine, but it is one of the most important places in the human body. But with that said, we're going to end on that note. Go look it up: heart, brain, intrinsic cardiac nervous system, Clifton Pope, Crash Bell, the flow. Last words, Christian. I mean, Christian, Cliff.
Stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed, and visit healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP to learn more about what Health Fitness Wealth Business is about. Follow me on social media too, Facebook. My name, Clifton Pope, Health Fitness Wealth Business. Of course, Instagram at cpope_44, TikTok at health.
All of them. All of them.
Just come out, come follow the journey.
Yes. Crash Bell presents the flow. We are out.